Hello, thank you for joining me. We're in Thetford in Norfolk today, and we've come here to visit Thetford Priory. This is a ruined Cluniac Priory. It's somewhere I've always wanted to visit, and here we are. This priory was founded as long ago as 1103 by a man called Roger Bigod. He founded this priory in vow of going on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and obviously a lot's changed, but that's probably how it would have looked inside the church. We're going to go in there and have a look. So it's free to visit. Look, there's the opening times. Any day you can't visit is Christmas Day. So let's go and have a look round. So as we walk through these gates, there is the priory in front of us. Tallest part still standing is part of the church, so that's usually quite common. The church usually was the strongest part of any ruined abbey or priory. So what we'll do, have a look around all the ruins and see what we can see. It's a nice painting. I always like these English heritage paintings. Shows you a nice painting of the whole site. The only thing we can't go and see, I understand the gatehouse is having some work, so we won't be able to do that part of the priory, but we'll have a look around the rest of the site. So when the priory was first founded, this wasn't the original site. There was an old church which they used on the other side of the river, and they were there for about 3 years, and some monks came up from Lewis, the Priory of St Pancras in Lewis, which I did visit a couple of years ago. That's the priory which now has a railway running through the middle of it. So if you want to see that video, have a look at the link on screen now. That's quite an unusual priory. They came up here, and then after 3 years they founded this new site here on the other side of the river. Quite a spacious site, you know, they could really build and expand, and this is the extensive site we have today. We're starting in the infirmary. We come into here, you know, it says part of the 12th century infirmary, so there'd have been a little chapel here. I'm not sure sometimes if this is or not, whether that's a little infirmary cloister. Some monasteries did have an infirmary cloister, so this is, you know, where the elderly monks, you know, would have gone probably towards the end of their lives. We're going to walk around, as I say, the whole site. These are all quite low, these walls. When I go to these places, I always think, although I kind of could just walk straight across there, I always try and stick to actual doors. I don't like to just sort of walk through walls, and I never climb. I don't agree with people who climb them. If there's stairs, that's different. If we see some any remaining spiral staircases or any other staircases, we'll go up them, but we won't climb. And as you can see, they've had to fence parts off. It says danger falling objects. I'm not quite sure what objects have fallen down, but maybe fallen masonry would be a more what you'd expect. So that's why parts of it are fenced off. Looking across, you see the church. Imagine a great big, you know, cathedral-like church would have been there. Of course, we wouldn't be able to see it because we'd have been inside some of the various passageways. What have we got down here? Oh, that's the parlour down there, so probably the kitchen and where they ate, the refectory, would have been around here. There probably was a plaque there. Unfortunately, someone's taken it off. That is the one thing. It's great it's free to visit, but the one problem you get when somewhere's free is anyone can come in, which is great in some ways, but then you get sometimes the wrong people and they unfortunately vandalise things. Talking of stairs, look, here's the dormitory stairs. So the dormitory would have been up here. Now we will go up here because this was part of the priories, and up here we get quite a nice view. So as I say, all of that's like where the kitchen would have been, and the monks would have probably slept above here, and then on the other side we get a nice view across to the church. Church would have been down there. This here, that's the chapter house, so that's like, you know, where meetings were held. They didn't pray as such in chapter house. That's not what chapter house was. So that's the chapter house. We're going to go back to the stairs, and of course in front of us, fairly unmistakably, is the cloister. What we'll do is we'll work our way around. We've got the prior's lodging over there. We'll finish up with the church. Let's go down here, see what we've got in here. So I'd say that was the parlour. So somewhere around here, I think the monks would have eaten. Go through an old door there. Now this is the warming house. This is where they'd have come to get warm. Let's go through this little door here. When I go to these places, I like to, you know, imagine how they would have been, and I try and sort of paint you the picture so you can sort of imagine where I would have been. I'd have been sort of walking in and out all these little medieval places. Let's see what else we can find. We'll go through here, and then I am actually going to eat my words here. I'm going to step over a bit of brickwork, jump over it, purely because it seemed a long way around. Oh, this is interesting. Look, if I'd been out there, there was a door, could have come through that door. Look, there's some water here. So this is probably where they would have got water. The river is just over there. Real Doctor, it says down there, walking through here. Let's go through this little door, taking us into this room. Again, getting a nice view over the whole priory. Let's follow our way around here. So go through here, and then what we'll do, we'll get to where we get a nice view of the prior's lodging. I've always enjoyed exploring ruined abbeys and priories and castles. I've just always found them fascinating ever since I was very little. There was the time when I went to Bilbo's Abbey. If you want to see what happened there, I had a rather interesting disagreement with a teacher at school over Bilbo's Abbey. So I've always been interested in ruined abbeys and priories. It's interesting. Got some brickworks here. Whether they were, not sure what they were. Some sort of ovens maybe. What does this say? Oh, this is the kitchen, or buttery later kitchen. So the kitchens were down there. They moved to here. Yeah. So that they are probably some old ovens. Let's go through this doorway here, and oh, this is the refectory. So here we are. We've come to the refectory, and this gives us an idea of what it used to look like. So imagine the monks sat along there in rows on that plinth. So on that plinth there'd have been the tables, and the monks would have sat there in rows eating, probably in silence. I did once go and stay at a monastery in France. A friend of mine said about it. He'd made friends with one of the monks and we'd been invited down there, and that was a really interesting experience. I'm not so interested in the religious side, but I did go to one of the services because you've got various people coming to visit the service. But when we ate meals, we ate them in silence. So there's the prior's lodging up there. We're going to have a look at that. What you see though, a lot of that is a lot newer. So the priory, you got the dissolution of the monasteries, the infamous Henry VIII. We're going to go out that little door there. So various pilgrims would have come here to Thetford before that. They'd have come here to basically be pilgrims at the monastery, and it was said people were getting visions of the Virgin Mary. So the town of Thetford made a lot of money from pilgrims. So it was really quite big business. And then when the dissolution of the monasteries came, Henry VIII wasn't very popular here, not just with the monks, but he wasn't very popular with the locals because they were worried the town would lose out on business because all these people would stop coming to visit the priory. So that's the prior's lodging. After the priory all became a ruin, it became a bit of a quarry. People have come here and pinched bits to help build their houses. This part of the priory continued on into the 18th century, but the original arches are these two arches. There's two arches there, a small one, a big one. They're original, but you can see various alterations and windows. Some have been bricked up and made smaller, and probably others were put in. They altered it to suit their needs. Unfortunately, again, falling masonry is a bit of a problem. So I don't think we can go in, but we'll go as close as we can. Convenient, isn't it, how that window's there and they can just put a scaffold pole right through it. We might be able to go in that bit. There's a lower bit down there. Let's go. Yeah, we'll go around. I'm not just going to jump down there. We'll go down and around, see what we can find. So it's a fairly sort of residential area. Even today you can see various residential houses around. And as I said, the lodge house is a bit out the way. We're not going to be able to see it today. And down these little steps. And here we are. We're below ground level now. Look, you can see my head is about ground level in one of these little rooms. You can see, look at that, there's a fireplace up there. There's an old wooden beam out across there, so I wonder how old that is. Go out this way. Actually, I think I just came out for a window then. Try not to do that. Look, there's a bricked up doorway, mixture of, looks like they bricked it up with whatever they could find, brick and flint, but it looks like there was also a bigger window there once, so it's been very much altered. Again, we can't really go in that bit, although if we follow the line of the fence, we can, on the other side of that big archway, we can have a bit of a look. I'm going to hold the camera high up so you can see. Not perfect, but it'll do. Now, what we would have seen once here in front of us here would have been a great facade of the church, like, you know, two twin towers, a great big window in the middle, just like, you know, you get your typical feel. In fact, there's a picture of it here, what it would look like, looking a bit like Southall Minster. That's the buildings behind us, and you can of course see all the other buildings. We've been walking all round there. We've got to here, we're now at the front of the church. So let's do what well, let's not quite do that. Normally I leave the church till last, and that's what I am doing. I've just noticed we might be able to go in this part of the Prior's lodging because the fence isn't around this part. Yes, here we are. Look, we're inside the Prior's lodging. Fascinating building. It's been here all these years, and again there's a more modern brick window that's been put in. We'll go out here, and like I say, imagine a great facade in front of us. Yeah, it would have been huge. We're going to go in through the front doors into the church. So this is it. So you've got to imagine a big church. Best you can sort of imagine with, you can see a part of the archway to have been, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's use this. There you are, that's what it looked like. Mentions there's it's Castle Acre Priory, which I've not been to, also in Norfolk would have been similar. So this is the base of the northwest tower. You can just see what looks like the beginning of a spiral staircase, and then I suppose the northwest tower base, no, that's the northwest tower, so the southwest tower base would have been, oh yeah, look, once again, we'll go, look, there is a spiral staircase. So imagine we're going to go all the way, I'm not going to go any further, but we imagine we're going all the way round and round and round. Imagine the view we would have got over, you know, the buildings and of course the whole town. So the town centre is that way. Now we're going to walk, I'm now walking down, well, I'm going to walk up the nave, and then we'll have a look at the north transept, the south transept, and just see what we can see. So this is always, I always think whenever I go to ruined abbeys and priories, I like to sort of explore all the little buildings, finish with the church, because the church is usually the most fascinating. And you never know, they're also different. Sometimes a church, you know, survives, and like Whitby, the church survives, there's very little else. And then ones like this, the whole plan is there, but you've kind of got some quite high remains, and then you've got some fairly sort of well, low remains. We must be now, yeah, this is the south transept now, which we're just walking into, so it feels more like a, you know, real ruin. I love it, like when we're at a ruin and, you know, you can walk through arches, that kind of thing. And then that's the chapter house down there. Once again, at the base of a spiral staircase, you can see the stone. Interestingly, this, so you got the stone cladding, it had been filled with flint like that, but here the flint's disappeared, but the stone work is still there. You get a few little chapels here, so you know when you go and visit your big cathedrals, you often see these chapels. Here we are, now we're walking towards the tallest part of the abbey, priory I should say. This is the Prestbury. Again, that's what it used to look like. So imagine again the monks sitting here in rows, you know, praying, doing their service, and yeah, it's been a really impressive building. So we think it's not even the whole arch has survived, but if you follow my finger sort of round there to have been the top of the arch, it would have been a really big building. Another interesting thing about this place is various dukes from the area were buried here. Here is the tomb of Thomas Howard, the Duke of Norfolk Victor, died in Fodden Field. So yeah, some really quite important people would have been buried there. And then I suppose the high altar would have been there. Yeah, you see more. The trees have grown up even taller than today's, you know, surviving masonry. And now, oh, we're in the Lady Chapel now. There's a little plaque there. It says, so this is the Lady Chapel. And here in this corner, look, we have base of a spiral staircase. Let's just go up this one just because we can. Gives us a bit of a view. And then view that way. I'm going back down again now, and we'll go out, and I think that will conclude the video. I think we've been round as much of the Priory as possible. This is the north transept, and again would have been a little chapel just there. So this is the best part, I think, of the monastery. Oh, and yeah, a couple of other bits out here. You would be able to walk through there if you wanted to go and see the gatehouse, but it says it's closed. So unfortunately, we're not going to see the gatehouse. But I think I've shown you everything now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, it's worth coming to visit. It is free to visit. So if you're in Thetford or up this way, do come visit. Unless it's Christmas, that's the only day you can't visit. So thank you very much for watching. Please do feel free to like, subscribe and comment. And from Thetford Priory, goodbye.